My name is Becky. My son's name is AJ. He just crossed over from Cub Scouts to Boy Scouts. I'm really grateful for the Scouts because my world, or our world, was really closed up. It was more of, I have 2 jobs, I'm a single parent, and it was more, okay kids, let's just do what we got to do and that's it. But it's really impacted the whole family. So my daughter and I get to go with him to a lot of places. We get to see different things, and we really enjoy it. And it's not only him, it's the family. It's the family. Like I said, I have made friends for life. I mean, I know it's not just to him, it's the family. I mean, I can feel that connection with these people that I didn't even know before. I can call them up at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, this happened at school and I don't know what to do. I'll talk to his leader, and he will tell me, don't worry about it, I'll talk to him, and he will. And then AJ will come up to me and say, Mama, I'm sorry. And it's just something that that they give, because what they're doing for my son now, it's gonna pay off so much in the future. And I know this. I know that he needs this guidance. He needs a positive male role models in his life. It's just not a club, it's family. I mean, it just grows into a family.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are so pleased to have you join us here today. We gather for the 13th year to celebrate and support scouting among our Hispanic families. I am Ray Malavey, and I've been involved in scouting for many, many years. And with me is Eddie Dominguez.
Welcome everybody, my name is Eddie Dominguez. I'm the co-chair for this year's event, and I have been involved in scouting for 12 years, ever since my oldest son was a Tiger Scout. Michelangelo, who's now 18, is a decorated and nationally recognized Eagle Scout, studying astrophysics at UC Berkeley, while serving in multiple positions from den leader to Cub Master in Pack 996 to committee chair and assistant Scout Master in Troop 128. Scouting has given my family the most precious gift of spending quality time together. And now I'm doing it all over again as Cub Master in Pack 114, where my youngest son Raphael is starting Webelos this year. I also have the honor of currently serving as an executive board member for the Central Florida Council and the BSA Vice President of Diversity for Area 4. Although we are not able to be together face-to-face for this year's event, we are pleased to have you join us for our virtual luncheon this year. We do hope that you grab some lunch and you will enjoy the program that we have prepared for you, including a special guest near the end of the program. Over the past year, Scouting in Central Florida has had many successes. Some of those successes include Council's membership grew by 4.2% over the previous year. 414 Scouts earned their Eagle Scout rank. 66,924 hours of community service were accumulated in Eagle Scout projects. We collected 310,000 pounds of food, which provided 258,310 meals to families throughout Central Florida. And 13,680 Scouts attended our council's camps last year. Although Scouting has looked differently for our youth these past couple of months, Scouts are continuing to be innovative in finding creative ways to learn and advance through Scouting programs online, including virtual meetings and merit badges, and by finding ways to be helpful throughout our communities while social distancing. While this year certainly looks different with us meeting virtually, each year we gather to show how our Scouting programs are impacting our communities, and we take time to recognize individuals for their outstanding service to the Hispanic community. I'm excited for today's honoree, Latino Leadership, Inc. Later this afternoon, we will celebrate all they do for our Central Florida community.
Before we get to today's program, we want to thank all those companies and individuals that have helped and continue to help and be our sponsors in this event in advance of today's program. We'd like to thank Wayne Dent Charities, Dr. Phillips Charities, Orange County Sheriff's Office, Resource Employment, Dex Imaging, Rene Plasencia, Zaza's Cuban Diner, Chocolate Cow Productions. Thank you all for your support of this event, and thank you for all you do for us. The BSA Latino outreach has evolved over the many years, and we've come a long, long way. We set out a number of years ago to grow the number of Hispanic families involved in Scouting and to offer more opportunities for individuals in our community and corporations to come alongside with us to help grow our program. We have launched more training opportunities and recruitment materials in Spanish language, and as evidenced here, recruited Latino community leaders to better represent our communities both locally and nationally. The Scouting program thrives with community collaboration and with partnerships. Joining together with leaders and organizations in our Hispanic community help us continue the Scouting legacy. Let's hear now from a family on their Scouting journey.
Hi, my name is Orlando Rojas. I wasn't a scout when I was young, and but my son wanted to get into it, and we start visiting the school, and we start getting into the meetings.
Scouting is part of my life, basically. I've been in Scouting ever since I was 6-7 years old in the pack. Then I transitioned into the troop.
I didn't realize how deep the movement is, and I start looking at the values and what they stand for.
I moved from Puerto Rico to the U.S. It's really not that different, but it has so many things different at the same time.
Since I was little, I always tagged along in the backgrounds because my brother, he was in the troop, and I would just do everything from the side, and it was really fun. Now I'm able to join the troop, and it's just a different experience. I get to camp with my friends, cooking, and it teaches you a lot of survival skills, but in a really fun way.
It's basically the same concept, like my dad said, like my mom said, helping others, following those morals, the Scout law, the Scout oath, they all become a lifestyle that each person can follow.
What I most like about Scouts is that they have give my kids the opportunity to meet new people, to visit new places. And most of all, with the Scouts, they have learned and practiced how to help others, how to help other people, and how to help our community. They have been involved with homeless, they help after natural disasters, and that for me is really important, that they learn to live as a community and to help everyone, no matter who that person is.
And I like it. I think teaching you, like, you have to be honest and trustworthy and all that, it helps to raise a family, right? And we all teach our values in our family, and I think those values set up a really good standard, because if you teach it at home and then they repeat it at scouting, I think it's a pretty cool way of getting it out there. It's and if you grow up, whenever you grow up and you keep thinking like that, trustworthy, brave, loyal, those are pretty cool things to grow by. I think scouting stands for that, and I think it's a good thing for my family. Of course, you as a parent need to be involved in it, because you both will grow as a person and as a scout.
Scouting is a big part of who I am today.
Thank you to the Rojas family and sharing their story and how scouting has impacted their family. This is just one example of the ongoing impact scouting is having on our Latino community. And in Central Florida, our scouting membership continues to expand throughout all of our neighborhoods. We currently serve our 22,000 youth and counting, and over 5,000 of those youth identify as Latino families. And this number continues to increase every year.
This luncheon helps provide a first-class character education and leadership program for the youth in our community. The proceeds enable many young men and women throughout Central Florida to become better versions of themselves and continue to prepare them to become leaders of character our communities and our country need to heal and grow. As our scouting families prepare to resume some of their outdoor programs and camps, they are feeling the impact of COVID. Many of our scouting families are now in need of financial support as their jobs have been impacted over these past months. Our support can ensure that scouting's traditions and values remain strong here in Central Florida. This is a powerful example of the viral nature of the internet and how people can come together online to support a cause. The Central Florida Council, Boy Scouts of America, need your support as we continue to make a positive difference in the lives of many families in our communities. This year, we know more scouts will need our support to participate in the scouting program, and we would like to be there for them in this time of need. Events like this one make sure that scouting is a reality for all families. For parents who choose to involve their children and families in scouting programs, it may just be the most important decision they make because it can have a life-changing effect. Now is your chance to help other families make scouting their way of life, just like the Rojas family. For as little as $25 a month, you can support one scout for a year in the Central Florida Council. Will you make scouting possible for all Latino families in our community? Please click on the link below, or the one emailed to you, or take your phone out and text BSA to 56651. This will bring up a donation page where you can help make a difference in the life of a child. While you are making your donation, we will play a brief video from our scouts.
A gift to scouting gives the gift of learning.
Thanks to scouting, I have a bright future.
Thanks to you, I can get closer to the bullseye.
Your gift helped me learn how to swim.
Your gift helps us build great things. Let's test it out.
Hey, it works!
Scouting brings families and communities together for service, learning, and adventure. Be part of the community. Please support your local Boy Scouts of America Council.
Your gift's gonna help us catch the big ones.
I love scouting because you always get to go outdoors, go camping, and have a lot of fun with your friends and family.
Thank you all for making your donation today, and please continue to give as we move ahead in our program. At this time, I am pleased to recognize our 2020 Vale la Pena Award honoree. This award translates to Scouting, It's Worth the Effort. Our honorees today were selected for their leadership and inspiration to others in the Hispanic community. They were identified as leaders who live and work by scouting values, perhaps without even knowing it. Latino Leadership is Central Florida's most established grassroots organization committed to fostering the integration of the Hispanic community into Main Street America. The organization emerged as a voter registration project in 1999, which evolved into a 501c3 nonprofit organization incorporated in 2001. The organization's main goal is to empower people by facilitating access to available resources that will lead them to success. To achieve this goal, the organization's programs are focused in three major areas: education advancement, leadership development, and economic development. One of Latino Leadership's most successful programs is the Santiago and Friends Family Center for Autism, which is the first fully bilingual, linguistically and culturally competent center in Central Florida. In 2017, Santiago and Friends provided more than 7,000 hours of applied behavior analysis therapy, weekly parent trainings, and hosted 8 autism-friendly family events. After Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico, Latino Leadership, in partnership with the Florida State Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, established the Puerto Rico Family Response Center, PRFRC, in Orlando as a humanitarian response to help alleviate the suffering of families impacted by the natural disaster. The organization has helped more than 8,500 displaced families by providing immediate emergency relief services. Latino Leadership developed the PRFRC as a permanent program, which serves as one-stop center for new arrivals as they transition to the new community in Central Florida. Latino Leadership addresses economic development priorities through its housing rehab, housing counseling, and workforce development programs. Since 2013, they have acquired, rehabbed, and sold 13 properties, increasing property values by over $750,000, which current market values near $1 million. The organization employs a housing counselor to complement the housing rehab program and help prepare Latino families for home ownership. In 2017 and 2018, the organization's housing counselor provided services to 31 and 35 individuals respectively. It is for these and many reasons we want to recognize Maritza Sanz, Marichi Guzman, and the entire team at Latino Leadership Inc. with the Vale la Pena Award. It is for these and many other reasons that we want to recognize Maritza Sanz, Marichi Guzman, and the entire team at Latino Leadership Inc. with the Vale la Pena Award. Please join me in congratulating them for all that they do for our community.
Thank you. Yay! On behalf of our staff at Latino Leadership and Santiago and Friends Family Center for Autism, we just wanted to say thank you. Over the last 20 years, we've been serving our community religiously, making sure that we're bringing resources to the community and giving families different opportunities within the community. Like many other things, this is one more. Just thank you for the work that we do. And we couldn't do it without our countless volunteers and our amazing staff. So on behalf of Latino Leadership, thank you so much. And we look forward to many more years of working on behalf of our community. Yay!
Congratulations to each of you, and thank you for all that you have done and all that you continue to do for our community. It has been a great pleasure to celebrate with you today. Please, a hand of applause to you all of this community. Now I would like to introduce Ruben, the CEO of Zazanu Cuban Diner, who has a special treat for us.
Hello, my name is Ruben Perez, and I'm the owner and co-founder of Zaza Cuban Diners here in Orlando, Florida. Let me start by welcoming the Boy Scouts of America to Hispanic Heritage Month. So today we're in my kitchen here at my house, where I'm going to show you how to make delicious Cuban coffee using a mocha pot, or what Latinos call a greca, or us, what we Cubans call a colada. A colada is basically a little aluminum percolator that has three parts. It has the bottom part, which is a reservoir, the top part where the coffee is percolated, and your filter where you put the coffee. What's cool about using a mocha pot at home, reality, it's an economic way of making pretty close to espresso at home. A good home espresso machine can cost anywhere from $400 to thousands, where a nice little aluminum mocha pot like this you can purchase for less than $20. So let's get started. The first thing in making good coffee using a mocha pot is first and foremost finding some really good coffee. So today we're going to use what I think is one of my favorites, or probably the best out there. It's Café Zaza's Familia Tradition Blend. So the Familia Tradition Blend from Zaza's is their espresso or Cuban style coffee. So we're going to use this to make our coffee in the mocha pot. If you're going to buy it whole bean, which you can actually purchase through our website, zazacubandiner.com, when you grind it at home, make sure you grind it for espresso. Or if you're going to order online already ground, get it for espresso. The espresso grind is really fine, almost to the point of just a little bit finer than granulated sugar. All right, so we got our good coffee, which is a starter. The next is we're going to take this mocha pot. I'm going to go and put my stove top here on medium heat. You don't want it too high. So it gets starting to get hot. And then I'm going to use the mocha pot, and I'm going to add filtered water. I like to preheat the water to a boil. And I like to use filtered water, of course, because I want to make sure the water is not affected by chemicals like chlorine that affect the flavor of the coffee. So I've already preheated some water in my microwave. And so now I'm going to take this hot water, which is burning my hand right now, and I'm going to fill the bottom of the mocha pot. Now there's a little valve. You can probably see a little stem valve there on the one side of the mocha. You want to fill the hot water up to about just at or just below the valve. All right, now I'm going to take the finely ground coffee, that's ground for espresso, remember. I'm going to put a little in this bowl here because it makes it easier for me to serve into my filter. And I'm going to fill the filter with this finely ground coffee. And you want to fill it up to the top. Now, those of you familiar with espresso, the famous tamp, when you tamp the espresso into the portafilter, you want to tamp it real tight with 35 pounds of pressure. Well, with the mocha pot, you don't want to do that. You want to get it nice and level, but you don't want to compress it very tightly. Just make sure it's slightly tamp, but don't compress it with too much pressure. All right? I'm going to put it into the bottom of into the reservoir of the mocha pot. I'm going to shut it off here, and we're going to put it onto the stove top on medium heat, if you recall. And what I like to do is I usually put it off to one side, because some mocha pots have plastic handles, and if you put it right over the flame, especially if you have a gas burning stove, it does melt, and trust me, that's happened to me before. So just keep it to one side. I like to leave the cap open, because that's what I'm going to see when the coffee starts coming out, all right? While we're waiting for that, we're going to make one of the little secrets of good, delicious Cuban coffee, and that's what we call the cremita sugar. So we're going to take, basically this mocha pot is for 6 servings of espresso. I'm going to take 3 to 4 ratio, so since there's 6 servings, I'm going to take 4 tablespoons, 1 tablespoon per 3/4 ratio, if that makes sense. So it's 4 tablespoons of sugar. And when that coffee starts to percolate, I'm going to get the first bit, which is really strong. I'm going to use a little bit of that to caramelize the sugar. And I'll show you how we do that in just a minute. So now you can see that first part of that coffee that's percolating. I want to get that first part. We call it la tinta, or the black ink. It's really the first part that's really strong. I'm going to use a little bit of that espresso. I'm going to use that to caramelize the sugar. We're going to whip up the sugar into this really delicious, ooey gooey paste. So see, as the coffee's almost done brewing, I'm almost finished whipping up this cremita sugar, which is, like I said, that's the Cuban secret. I'm gonna go and shut the stove top up and let it finish percolating. But you're gonna whip this up so it almost starts looking like, it almost looks like peanut butter. But you got that sugar totally caramelized. If we're gonna use a modern term, we infuse the sugar with espresso. You got it melted. So I think we've got most of the 6 servings of the Cuban coffee brewed. And now we're gonna make the magic here, okay? So now I'm gonna take this sugar, I'm gonna put a little bit more into my cremita sugar and keep incorporating it in because I wanna infuse that sugar. Get it really all sweetened up. So Cuban coffee is a jolt of caffeine and pure cane sugar. So that's why people get that, they get stimulated when they drink Cuban coffee. It's delicious. I like that word, stimulated. There you go. So we're going to pour the rest of the 6 servings. As you can probably see, I don't know what you can see from your angle, but now, when you brew mocha pot coffee, it's like a really strong coffee. It's not really espresso. When you make espresso in an espresso machine, the coffee's got more body. It's a little bit more viscosity, I call it. Almost looks like oil, right? Like petroleum. But when you make a mocha pot and you infuse it with the cremita sugar, you've got the same thing. You see the crema, the foam on top, and it's really deliciously sweet and yummy. So basically, we've got it made up, and then basically what my grandmother used to do, she would actually pour. You see when I'm pouring, you're gonna see the black coffee coming out. She'd get her servings to all our guests. We got three cups here. And then she would take the espumita, the sugar foam, and just top it off with that. You see a nice little top, and it's got that look just like an espresso. Remember, if you ever get served an espresso and you just see a nice little crema on top, send it back. This is the foundation to a delicious cup of coffee, espresso, Cuban coffee, whatever you want to call it. So this is great on its own. Some folks like that little cream, a little bit of milk. You can do that to your liking. If you're Cuban, you like the cortado, which is just a little bit of milk added to it, you can do that. Or if you can use this foundation in a large cup, about a third of this, 2/3 of hot milk, you make a café con leche. So it's absolutely delicious. So I'm gonna have a little of my coffee. So let's cheer to delicious, locally roasted Cuban coffee. Salud. Mi casa, su casa.
Thank you, Rueng. It was a pleasure to have you with us today and show us all how to make a good Cuban coffee. Could use one right now, actually. There was a special treat for each of us, I hope. I also want to thank again each and every one of you for being here today and making a donation to the Scouting program. Your support goes a long way in helping us continue to serve more Hispanic and Latino families in Central Florida. Enjoy your rest of your day, and that concludes our event. We look forward to seeing you again next year, but back in person. Thank you very much.